All right, everyone, welcome back. We are just about to get going with this too. We actually have the knife round happening in the background at the moment, so we'll let you know what way that one goes. But yeah, it comes right down to the wire on Vertigo. If you weren't with us, of course, that means we're heading on to map number 3. But alternate, they lost that in a bit of a rough way, didn't they, Wolfie? There was 3 force buys in a row. They got so close on each of them, but they weren't able to make it happen. And now they're in a bit of a rough position where they're coming onto a map that's actually pretty damn good for LDLC.
Yeah, 3 buys with Deagle's armor and utility, a 1v1, a 1v1, and a 2v1 to take us to OT, and they can't get any of them quite over the line. So we're going to have Dust 2 as the decider. As you said, very strong map for LDLC, plays to a lot of their strengths. And alternate attacks, you've got to imagine they're going to be gutted, right? They had the opportunity to shut this down 2-0. They had 3 opportunities to at least take us to overtime, and we're, after the ninth round, jumping straight in. LDLC
I went
with
a
an
bit early.
opportunity.
Oof.
Oh, a bit early. I've jumped the gun.
I
I
have
never.
OBS in front of my game, so I can't see it fully. I just saw it restart, saw the pistols. I was like, "Oh, this is it."
Oh, I was ready. I was ready to go into map 3, but no, we take a little while longer, and then we do get going with the action. Alternate attacks going to get to start CT side. I think the jury's still out on Dust 2. There seems to be. It's weird, despite it being one of the least changed maps in all of history. The CT side argument, it rocks back and forth all the time, but LDLC going to go for this early long control. Nice pot flash over. Kios catches a gift onto Process, and it's going to force Scrunk on a very rapid retreat. LDLC do not look like they want to slow this one down whatsoever. 3 players queued up, and it's Scrunk desperately taking the fight, but it's not going to land. Maka, a very swift headshot, on the CT side, they're already scrambling.
Indeed, there is, of course, a bit of a gap in the smoke, but they aren't able to connect too much damage as the cross comes in. Only a small bit done to Kios. He himself actually firing back there. They take Panics away from the short angle for a moment, but they are struggling to really get on towards this bomb site right now. This could be a little dangerous still. I guess not wanting to take these peaks on their own, they do want to ensure that everyone is here when they finally swing in for the fights, and yeah, it works out pretty well. Even catching the player down in the spawn before he can retreat back to safety, so now it's all on Crimbo. And as you said, yeah, just those initial openings towards long, alternate at that point were in such a difficult spot. They needed to just somehow catch a couple of kills before the cross came in towards the bomb site, and they aren't able to make that happen. Nice finish from Haji, and well, he's one of the men that we said needs to show up, but another player that I think we said has been too quiet, but we were kind of forgiven of because of the maps, is Maka. But here on Dust 2, once he gets the op out especially, I want to see him popping off.
We need to see those guys showing up, and we also just need to see a cleanup, right? They can't be making the mistakes again. They're going to go out towards long. There's a heavy stack here from the CT side, and Process, well, he's going to get a gift of an opener. Smoke goes deep. That's a Galil. Recoverable on the ground. So already a rifle upgraded, and LDLC, they're going fast off the back of it. They're trying to take control. Mid-B split seems viable for sure. Haji really looking like he wants to make up for lost time here. 2 quick frags. The nades do good work. But with the man advantage, LDLC, they've got time. They've got space to potentially play this however they choose. Nice pickup from Crystal to grab the scout, with a couple of players tagged to within a one-shot viable range, but the swing, nice pot flash, fully blinded. Haji again turning up on 12 HP. He gets yet another kill, and the backstab works out perfectly for Lambert.
Yeah, that was just really well played. Realizing they were good with just getting those 2 trades around mid, falling back, and coming up through short, while those players were very likely already dropped down to deal with that CT push. So just played extremely well. The initial player out long on his own, I would say, was slightly questionable for sure, but able to salvage the situation much better than they were on the previous maps. Crimbo is still looking for these kills. I mean, it's only a Deagle and Cavalier he has, so if he can do the damage, he may as well, and there we go. That was a nice shot by Crimbo. Gives you some hope, at least, for once the guns start to come out for alternate. But obviously the force buy does not work. So this is going to be LDLC likely heading up 3-0. And this was something that they really struggled with. The force buys in the second round was just something they weren't able to overcome even when they were winning those pistols. So yeah, much better start. Lambert even finding that final kill. Crimbo was trying to move in and take one of the weapons for himself, but he wasn't allowed to get away with it. And yeah, as I said, now 3-0 should be the scoreline. A little bit of a stack maybe come in from alternate. We're actually going to see a scout from Crystal. What the hell? Did they just want to keep the force buys going from the previous map or something?
Apparently. I mean, nobody else is invested.
It's just a hero scout, but still.
Yeah, a couple of Deagles behind it. I guess they're looking for the tag 'em and bag 'em strat, right? But Panic straight up mid, not going to be able to get anything done. Process on the Deagle, making them pay for one, and a tag onto the second man. Problem being, they're losing control very rapidly. Where is Scrunk? Is he inside a smoke on long? What is going on
Yeah.
there? He sat in a smoke, so they passed him right by,
Oh,
and
you heard it.
he could catch. Oh, he could have caught the mother of all
Oh, maybe
timings
not.
there. Oh,
I
no.
thought he heard the steps. Apparently he didn't. There's the bomb. And a
No,
Galil. Easy peasy.
not again. Not again. 3v3.
Scrunk on him.
It's all timings now, isn't it? Process swinging out short. Can't quite land it. Lambert will deal with him, but Scrunk, full health. A Galil. And bomb at his feet. He knows there's a player over on the A-bomb site, right? He's heard his teammate go down, and now it is all on this spray. If he takes out Maka cleanly, which he does, Sixer, next one to run the gauntlet. He's running out of ammo, Scrunk. He's had to switch back to the pistol, and that's going to spell good night. It's all on Crystal now, 1v2. Scrunk not able to get too much damage out either onto these remaining players, so no tags for him to potentially work with. Scoped up on the cross. There is a smoke. There is a flashbang. But Ldlc are just going to go into this dry. They're just going to straight swing it, and it's a beautiful shot from Sixer. Alternate attacks for a split second, you believe. The madness was looking to continue, but it's not quite enough. Ldlc do get through. It's very expensive again. The T-side economy will prop this up more often than not.
Yeah, you can get away with it a little bit more. Especially here on D2, it's not like the nades are the most important aspect of the buy. So you can get away with maybe having a few less nades sometimes if you are having to come back into the rebuys. But even then, you would prefer if it was clean. Especially with how close these last couple of... Well, that last map especially was. I would imagine Ldlc would be happy with as strong of a start as possible. But yeah, not a bad position. You have Maka obviously on the op here as well, coming into the opening gun round. But alternate, they finally have weapons. That's what we're going to know here. Crystal sadly stuck on the MP9. Obviously, he went for the scout in that previous round, but they were able to make that work to a pretty good extent overall, the small investment that they put in. So I would say it was worthwhile in the end, even if we kind of questioned it as it was happening. But here we go. The pause is removed. Loads of nades. That's not going to be a worry for alternate. They have utility across the board. It is just one kit, though, which could be a bit of an issue if that gets lost in an awkward spot. But, I mean, we'll see. It's actually pretty equal when you consider that there's a Galil for Lambert. Obviously not as bad as the MP9, but both teams are working with one of those weaker weapons. But here we go. Nothing too crazy anyway in the initial moments from Ldlc. Not wanting to move for the long control. It didn't go too well for them in that second round when they sent one player out. I don't believe they had the spawn either, so just the standard smoke towards Xbox, and well, with that, they will fight for short control. I was going to say they'll find a bit of resistance, and they will still do so. It's just Alternate have decided to take a slightly more passive angle. The op on the corner playing the initial contact, and then a rifle tucked in up close.
Nice use of the util, though. Trying to clear it out, or Ldlc. CT Molotov goes deep, and actually, Panic's support has disappeared. Process has made his way back onto the site to try and pop flash his AWP in, and now it's going to be all on these timings. Ldlc looking for a boost to the left of Panics, and I don't think he quite spotted it. Drops off the angle, opts to relocate rather than facing any more danger. And Ldlc reroute. It's going to be Crystal again. He got so much done with this MP9. The mid-B split looking to come through, and it's really all on the MP9. He can't get anything done at all, and that leaves a very isolated Crimbo trying to hide in towards the back plat, but how much can you realistically expect of one man? Nothing at all is the answer. Lambert there to cut the rotations away. He takes out one, even finds a dink onto Scrunk through the wall before the damage starts to be traded. Switches to the pistol. It's complete chaos. That doesn't even matter. The round is done. It will be Ldlc with a fourth. It's just a question of how much will the CT side be able to hold on to.
You see Lambert there was like, go on, push me. I know I've tagged you up, I'll just knife you. But obviously Scrunk wasn't going to do that. He wants to get out there and save the weapon. Just as Panics does with this AWP. But yeah, Ldlc, they've got the first gun round. They're going up 4-0. This is the sort of start that we've been seeing out of Alternate into all of these maps so far. So for Ldlc to be able to make this happen now and to actually get going early on the map is fantastic to see. And we've got to say, Haji and Sixer are both showing up absolutely fantastic right now. I think we're kind of having everyone finding some form at this point. They've all certainly warmed up.
Definitely feels like the worst timing for alternate attacks, doesn't it? So many opportunities. Come to this third map, looking to make it happen, and well, Ldlc, they've remembered that form. They've started to hit their lines again. Maka been a little bit slow so far, but honestly, it's more because his teammates haven't given him any frags to find than anything else.
Yeah, just chilling.
Couple of deagles around this force buy. Of course, Panics and Scrunk saving gives a little bit more bite to it, and 3 deags potentially trying to capitalize on what damage the rifles can get away with, but LDLC treating it with respect, sitting off it initially. Now they take the long control. Orp is here for panics, but LDLC aren't going to give him any kind of a peek, at least for now. He's posted on the car, just trying to get anything possible done with it. Does leave him isolated in no man's land here. If a flash comes over the top, he is in for an awful time, but he's going to keep aggressing, and he might catch players with nades out at this point. Molotov goes out towards the car. He now knows he's got to get aggressive, finds one, but that's it. Scrunk is there with the M4. He'll switch out to the AWP as he retreats, even managing to dive with it, desperately trying to grab that M4's the T-Rex arms, but he manages it. Somehow he gets out of there with both of the rifles, and even 1-for-1 trade. I think the CT side will take that with both rifles still available. And LDLC slow right down. 50 seconds left. The time has frequently been an enemy of theirs, so they're going to be aware of it. But they're just waiting for any more reaggressions from the CT side.
Yeah, looks like they are expecting it, but I mean, they eventually do have to move forward. The time is not really on their side with just 30 seconds remaining. You do actually have Process pushed up on mid, so they're going to have a long flank set up, and they've got two players tucked in on the car, but Crimbo, he cannot hit anything. It's going to be Scrunk now with the M4 who has to pop up and decimate a couple of players at the very least, and oh, he lines them up. There we go. They didn't expect a third player in at the car, and Scrunk, he goes huge. We had him hitting plays like this back on Nuke when Alternate were finding success, and if he can deliver like this again, then we are going to have a close game, and there we go. The quad even available. Trust the AK to a teammate. We'll take the op as well. I think they got another AK on Crystal there, flanking around on long. So, yeah, looking pretty good. Alternate, that's one way to get yourself onto the board. It's a bit of a motivator to be able to win a round like that when you don't have a lot to work with. And, I mean, it motivates the bank as well. Let's say that, because they've gotten a few free weapons from that has allowed them to actually get something in the reserve.
LDLC and losing to half buys. Name a more iconic duo again. The AWP and the M4 with Deagles behind them are the breaking point for LDLC, of course. A clean 4-0 start on T side does mean there's at least economy for one more buy. But after this, it'll be down to the upgraded pistols if they can't make it stick. Alternate Attacks looking to meet fire with fire, and Six is just going to straight burn. Deep back of B. No idea what went on there, but Crimbo will get the Molotov kill. Already a man down, LDLC. They do again pivot towards this early long control. But with the AWPs now in session, with Panics locking things down from the site, it's going to be so difficult for them to get anything really done. They do have Haji starting to prod and probe around short, but Panics seems aware of it, and they'll start to queue up. Just Scrunk actually within the bomb site itself, and by not using any utility, the T-side are getting the drop on their opposition somewhat. Now they need to smoke the cross. That has to come through. That will give the game away somewhat. And Scrunk, he wants nothing to do with this. He's trying to find support. Panics is actually going the other way, up towards Gandalf, and boosted. Maka will find the first pick. That starts to open things up in a major way, but Scrunk is still alive and kicking on short, and he's looking to help his teammates out. There's a desperately low Process in towards the elevator. Does he go for this jump shot? He's thinking about it. He'll get it. The bomb won't go down, but the trades are still there. 2-on-2. 20 seconds left. Bomb recovered by Maka. He wants the long plant, but it's risky. And Crystal almost calls his bluff. Headshot spotted, Jesus. But there's the no-scope. Maka looking to do it all by himself. 1v2 again for Crimbo, and they're grouping up towards Goose.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. The no-scope, it's all onto Crimbo. He's been spotted. They know he's in towards the spawn now, and even with Maka being low health, I don't think they're going to give him any opportunities. They are ready for this trade, and there you go. Lambert just pops up. What a round from Maka. We said he had a bit of a slower start, but that's just because he wasn't getting the chances as soon as he's needed. As soon as he has to step up for them, he does so and delivers. As LDLC fire right back and forth. That's what we said is the worst case scenario for the CT side, and well, that's what they've gotten. Thankfully it was, of course, that weaker buy that they managed to win, so they have some money left over, enough to get the buy back in. But still, they've already conceded 5 rounds over to LDLC, who are off to a fantastic start here on Dust 2, which was something they couldn't achieve even on Vertigo. Oh, the tag. He saw the flash being thrown in, and ends up actually taking Crystal down low to 30. Yeah, just fantastic work by Maka. I don't even think he's really aware that he connected that shot, but either way, it helps out, especially with a Mac 10 still in play here. You also have Crimbo, who doesn't even have armor.
Ever going to complain about a little bit of unconfirmed damage? Double AWP setup brought out by the CT side. A big call this early on in proceedings. Could economically cripple them if it goes wrong. Just Crimbo. As you said, no armor over towards this B bomb site, playing a very aggressive spot on that AWP. Support's going to be hard to come by. If he goes down 1 for 1 and they swarm this B bomb site, it's going to become so difficult so quickly. The fake will be lined up by Lambert. He'll drop what utility he can, might even just swing out with this Mac 10 to try and make some noise, try and draw some rotations. He's done just that, but Crimbo smelt a rat. Nice first shot. Baited into the second, will be traded, and there's Sixer chiming in with Hadji to open up this B bomb site. The rotation's just not quite quick enough, and well, Lambert will hold them for a little while at the very least. Scrunk has managed to make his way into the tunnels quickly, but his teammates, they don't seem interested in this whatsoever. Scrunk spots out Lambert. The rest of the crew are over towards A long. They want nothing to do with this take. It's going to be a 6th round for Ldlc regardless. They just need to hold on to these rifles.
Yeah, and you can completely understand that decision because the economy is in a very bad place. They've got loss bonus, so saving over the weapons means they can drop to Crystal and Crimbo. They can get a few nades back as well. Panix already actually has the full set of nades, so you'll likely see him being one of the players who does drop over, likely alongside Scrunk because he's got a kit and a smoke already. So they'll be able to work this out pretty well. They're not really going to be lacking at all in this buy, but they are lacking in rounds. It's getting a bit out of control. It's relatively early days, but still, we haven't seen Ldlc being able to achieve a start like this. And even then, they were still able to take Vertigo away from alternate attacks. So it's worrying to me because we haven't really seen alternate being able to step up from one of these slower starts like we know Ldlc were capable of. As I said, though, nothing lacking. They do have everything they could ask for pretty much. Full sets of nades, 2 kits as well to work with. It is just the 1-up, though. Not going to have that second one on Crimbo this time, unfortunately.
Yeah, double up investment didn't work out the first time. Nice pick from Panix. Macro actually had the bomb on his back as well, so a good amount of information gained. He will be put under pressure, but ducking down obscures his head for long enough, and that's a wallbang and a half. Process gets the bulk of the damage. His teammates there to back him up. Crystal gets the free pick in towards B. Well, we said we hadn't seen alternate attacks coming back from a slow start. That's one way to shut us up. 3 frags in quick succession. Lambert and Kios left with scraps. Panix, already 2 to his name, locking out the car. Doesn't feel like there should be any way back into this, despite Lambert hitting some snazzy bunny hops. Mid B smoke, with nobody behind it, isn't going to call that much of a fake at all. They'll stick to their positions. Alternate attacks, they know they've got a significant advantage here, and as Panix picks up his 3rd, it's all on to Lambert, not a player we traditionally associate with the AWP, and it's not going to work out. The quad kill comes in for Panix. Alternate attacks, a flawless CT round, and they really needed that.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I mean, solid first opening. The second one, though, the wall bang from Panix was just crazy. He heard the shots coming in, just kind of took his chances with it and ends up connecting. And at that point, the round was just in an incredibly difficult spot for Ldlc to try and recover. Obviously not able to get anything out of it. And, well, now they're expending all of their own cash to get the buy back in. So there's a position here where alternate can actually completely break them down. And, yes, Grunk pretty much gifted 2 kills there. They walked through the smoke into a molly while blinded, at least in the case of Hadji. He had been flashed up by his own teammates' flash as well, I believe. There is at least one return from Sixer over towards B as he catches the aggression there, but they're still working with a man disadvantage. And of course, not really in a position to capitalize quickly off of that kill either, so there is likely going to be assistance here for Crimbo by the time the B hit starts to come in, or at least near enough by to be called in. Yeah, smoke over, so that should give a bit of an idea. Sixer still lurking around mid, though, trying to catch these rotators. And, well, he spotted Process and did hear that already. Panix had crossed over, so they know there's a couple of players towards B.
Gonna take some very quick shots to get them back into this one. Panix, at least for now, has backed out of it, but with the smoke going down, he will relocate. Crimbo just has to really stay alive by car. Pop flash in is going to be absolutely perfect. 3 fully blind players, nothing they can do. Panix gets the first, and all this is distracting. Crimbo does go down. 3v2. There is time, lack of utility to really get this bomb planted, so it's going to have to be safe from Sixer. And, well, we've been hyping Maka up. We've been wanting a big performance from him. This would be the perfect time to pull one out. Just the one pop flash for alternate attacks to get back into this site. Panix actually switches out for the AK-47, going to be pop flashed into the angle. Let's see what LDLC can do. Pop Flash comes out. Maka doesn't peek initially, but here we go. 2 quick frags, and it's all on Scrunk. The Orpa trying to isolate these fights, but there's 2 targets. He'll hit the first. Maka just has to stay alive, just has to buy time back plat, and he's crouching down, just shouldering it, and there you go. The headshot comes in. LDLC bite back again. And for the first time, I think, in 3 maps, the battle of these back-and-forth buys is finally starting to go the way of the Frenchman.
A little welcome to the clutch graffiti there from Maka, fitting for the situation, and yeah, 7-2. A couple of missed shots by Scrunk. Either way, I don't know if the time would have really worked in his favor right there. It was taken away pretty quickly, but yeah, as you said, LDLC, they are coming out on top of the back and forths right now. We've seen it a little bit as they started to obviously recover the situation slightly on their T side. When they got back in with a few rounds, they were going kind of back and forth, but obviously it didn't work out for them on Nuke. Vertigo, they did win, but that was with them just pretty much having to take back control after losing kind of 5 or 6 rounds early in both halves. So this is a big contrast to what we were getting on the previous ones. They are looking so much more convincing with their play. And,
definitely feels that way. Alternate attacks again. I'm not sure about this. They pull the trigger on the double AWP once more. Grimbo picks up secondary duties. The HE to obscure the initial peak. And yeah, both teams on the ropes financially here. A make or break round for the half in all reality. Panic's trying to be the difference maker. Does go down short for the initial peak. Doesn't spot anything though. And Maka is now posted. This is going to be a huge fight and he's going to win it. The peak better for the Orpa coming down, and Panics isn't going to get anything off that boost either. I think LDLC might just look to up the pace here almost immediately. They drop the mid-B split smokes and try and pile that pressure on. This time, Crystal, the man tasked with holding things off. Haji in the perfect position to deal with the rotation. Scrunk already gone. It's going to be all on Crystal. He's got it all to do on that B-bomb site. Hits the first shot. He needs so much more, though, and Haji is just keeping these rotations at bay. He goes down, and that's it. Guaranteed lead at the half, 8-2 in favor of LDLC. And Panics, he's just got to save that up.
Yeah, absolutely nothing to be done. It was looking like there was a chance for obviously Alternate to continue the back and forth, but at this point they just have to eco and make sure they get a real buy now, because it seems like they're always working with some sort of weakness in it. Obviously this one wasn't too bad, but now they're going to unfortunately be left back onto just pistols, potentially surrounding an op if he can carry it over. But LDLC, they want it. They don't have money themselves to really throw at it, but they have the rounds to work with that it wouldn't be too big of a deal if they had to take an eco at some point. So they are looking to deny Panics the save. No, it looked like he was going to line them up for the collateral. What was going on? Why did it take so long for someone to shoot? That was crazy.
Oh, just madness. Just madness. But they get rid of the AWP, right? The final
they
goal
let them live
is
as long as possible. They're like, you think you're going to survive? No.
Oh, yeah. I think third map fatigue has set in a little bit there, but the buy will still come in for alternate attacks. Of course, not having that AWP saved means there's some significant sacrifices. Nobody picks up head armor. There's 3 FAMAS. The utility incredibly slim, but they will fight the early long control. They'll take the early long presence as well. And now they'll look to reroute. LDLC pretty much settling into the tried and tested default at this point. Starting to sneak a couple of players out of mid. Panics will be the man to contest this, and he wasn't expecting them so close. It's an awkward spray for Kios, but it lands. And again, they can ask the exact same questions if they want mid-B split smoke, but it looks like a ruse at least for now. Instead, they'll head their way up to short. Bomb to make its way out of long. It's a 2-2 split, whichever bomb site they look to hit. And they actually just slow it down. I thought they'd speed up. They've done that pretty much every time they've been asked this question, but they'll slow, approach through long, process with an opportunity, but caught. The timing incredibly awkward, and again, Scrunk, in the impossible situation, does well to find the pick onto short, but he's got 4 players coming from long, full utility behind them as well, to make his life as difficult as physically possible. Goes for the AK-47, has to buy as much time as possible on this angle, but it's not going to work. It's shut down so quickly yet again. And I think alternate attacks, I mean, you can see the 9th round, but with the finances as they are, max loss bonus on the board, 2 saved rifles could form the backbone of a much stronger buy into the next round.
Yeah, and they're not moving in for it, but I mean, even then, it's not going to be a fantastic buy. Could it be worth ecoing the 1 and then trying to aim for maybe the 5 rounds at the halftime?
Mm.
I don't know, because even then, 5 isn't really enough normally. It requires you winning out that pistol round, and ideally then even the first gun round on that second half to tie things up. So it's a rough spot to be in. The weapons, I think, should be saved. Crimbo, no, he's actually fighting incredibly aggressive, and, well, ends up going down to Maka. The op at least will be carried over, unless Crystal decides to fight it. But no, at this point, he will be safe. 8-2, LDLC, or 9-2 rather. LDLC just continue to propel themselves up into a fantastic lead. And a reminder, we don't actually have a marker on the screen, of course, but this is map number 3. Alternate, they had such a good start, haven't actually taken Nuke. They stole away LDLC's map choice. Vertigo looked like it was going to be going their way. It comes all the way down to the wire. They lose out 3 force buys in 1v1s in a row for LDLC to take the map and send us onto Dust 2. And LDLC just haven't slowed down since.
They really haven't grasped that momentum with both hands and ran with it. 9-2 up here, third map. Really grown into this game as it's gone on. An alternate attacks. Save the AWP, of course. Panics will be dropped it. Has enough money to maybe pick up some armor behind it as well, but saving for the next will just go for the glass cannon. 4 Deagles in support. Aggression in middle, but Crystal, he was trying to bait it. He was trying to surf around the corner and bait the initial shot out. That is not how it played out. Panics on short, going to be punished as well. The AWP gone immediately. Alternate attacks, just 3 players left. Process does well for 1, and there's actually a couple of rifles now scattered on the floor at his feet, so he'll salvage the AWP and escape out of there. But how much more can they get done with what little they have remaining on the server?
Yeah, probably not a lot. I mean, Crimbo's tucked in a pretty dangerous corner here if it's overlooked, but there's nades, there's even a molly that could be put down in that position if they want to. But at the very least, the trade hopefully going to be there for LDLC. You need a couple from Crimbo, I was going to say. One wouldn't be enough. He does get the one, which has actually let Process get into position as well. He just runs through the smoke, Deagle in hand. It looked like he had the headshot lined up, but not quite. But he's done some damage to make things easier for Scrunk. And when we think of the clutches for Alternate, it has been Scrunk who's delivered them in the past. Creeped in up close, he has no idea. Maka, it is a free kill as the barrel gives away his position. There we go, Alternate. Welcome back to the scoreboard, baby. This gives them the chance now to salvage it up to 6 rounds, which isn't too bad if they can get up towards 6 here on the CT side, get the pistol on the second half. Suddenly things can be tied up at 9-9. And yeah, at that point, you really have a game on your hands again, but they do need to keep this up now because there is another pretty decent buy here from LDLC.
What is it with LDLC and weird half buys? 1 AWP, 4 Deagles. Again, it's the oddities that go wrong for them. The rifle rounds have looked convincing, and again, Kios, absolutely fine. Opening man advantage found. Pushes for the short control. Takes position away from the CT side. And as a result, Crimbo is going to get aggressive. That's one hell of a dink onto 6. They're deep in towards spawn. But either way, they're committing to this. Oh, the timing is everything. Crystal gets the backstab. Levels things out, and there is a lot of damage for them potentially to work with on the board here. Scrunky expects the drop. Can't quite hit the shot, so Kiels will get a second before he goes. And 3-on-3, the CTs seem pretty rattled. They really have no idea where this hit's going at this point.
How could they? It's just been an absolutely crazy round with pushes all over the place, keeping them pretty much questioning what's going on. It does seem eventually like it's going to be the mid push, but the molly behind the push from Haji to bait out that there's no one going mid. This might work, and he spots the head of Crystal. There we go. That opens up A completely. It was Crimbo and Panic stacked over towards B, and, well, as LDLC move up short, they should have a completely open bomb site. And I hate to say it, but I think it's another save.
You look at the finances, and I don't think you can justify any other picture, right? If they go towards B, sure, give it a go. Try and hold it down. You've got the utility to make it work, but with this bomb plant, I think that's the round done. I don't think they necessarily know about that dink onto 6er either, so the unconfirmed damage, coupled with the fact you're on the wrong side of the map and your finances are awful, it has to be. They have to try and save these weapons, so double digits on the board for LDLC. Again, rifle buys, sure, we'll dispatch of them. It's just, it seems to be when the teams are playing their most loose, unstructured CS, that's when LDLC really start to fall apart, right? When there's players everywhere, they're constantly in their faces, they're holding all of these off angles, and they're willing to try something a little bit mental, right? You saw in the round where they won it with the Deagles and the AWP, Panics goes through the smoke. to get one and a second. He goes through the smoke twice. That's not a play an AWPer will traditionally commit to, and I don't think Ldlc were ready for it. But when it comes down to these standard rounds, right, where you've got the standard setups, they know what they're doing on Dust 2 very clearly. 10 on the board now. The double AWP setup is bought out by alternate attacks. They are clutching at straws on their CT side. And yeah, it's all the players we expected. Hadji leading the way, Maka just behind him. It's these guys we've been saying needed to show up. They're doing a fine job on Dust 2.
It's just been across the board. Kios has been stepping up. It doesn't seem like anyone is lacking right now for Ldlc. They're taking turns. They're like, is this your round to pop off? Cool, I'll just chill for this one. I'll take the next one. It's what can you do when you're alternate in that case? As you said, the crazy rounds, the crazy aggression is what has worked best for them, not only here on this map, but kind of across the board on Nuke and Vertigo as well. But it's Dust 2. There's not as much that you can do. There's a few areas. If there's someone watching it, then you just need to make sure you hit your shots. And, well, Ldlc are doing that better. Crimbo, he proves me wrong. He actually connects on Sixer over in the tunnels. That's going to force Ldlc forward elsewhere. And, well, yeah, with that, they catch Panics and a second frag from Kios. That's A, potentially open if they aren't able to hold it from that back corner. The issue is, though, Skrunk is going to be flanked out. He needs a second kill on Lambert to hold on to Long, and he's not able to achieve it. This should be Ldlc heading up to 11, and as the kills continue to come in, it is pretty much all but confirmed. Crimbo, he's creeping up closer to spawn. Flash in, he's not going to be spotted quite yet. So he is up close and could have maybe hit the jump shot. I mean, it's a risky play. He tries to make it happen, eventually gifted the no-scope. But surely Ldlc don't give him any more silly chances like that.
Surely not. Man on short will deal with him. Hadji finds the shot, even saves the AWP that was sort of propelled at him by Maka somewhat. Regardless, an 11th round on the board. I feel like we've had the most one-sided halves that have come back to the most incredible games. So I'm not going to write this one off yet, but this is probably one of the most balanced maps we've had out of the 3 today, and it's one of the most unbalanced
He's
halves.
going for a scout.
I mean, have a go down
May as
mid,
well.
sure, why not? Recover the rifle afterwards. Okay, that's why not. Panics. Removes the early man again. That uncharacteristic aggression, right? The hero play catches Ldlc off guard initially. They'll swap around the rifles to get the kind of buy thereafter. Panic's still lurking in towards middle. Could be given another chance here. He's straight swinging it, and Hadji will go down. The numbers thinning very rapidly for the T side of Ldlc. Not going how they would have envisioned, and you can see the CT side just settling into their round. Process gets one. Lambert, well, does well to trade. And Panic's overly aggressive makes things just that little bit more awkward. Crystal is still only on a deagle, bear in mind, and with Process brought down to 19 HP, this is not a done deal just yet. Sixer with good util will start to clear things out, and Process is the only man on this site. 19 health. If that Molotov goes onto the site itself, it's going to force him back, and indeed it does. Now having to play the ramp, but somebody's got to give Ldlc a frag, right? Somebody's got to push into their crosshairs. Otherwise, there's not a lot they can do.
Yeah, especially with the time beginning to go down a bit. They are going to have to move now pretty soon. It's Process, the low-health player who is here to defend. A bit of help from Crystal in the spawn, but he's not in the greatest of positions to stay alive. Even if he catches one, I would say the trade should be available, and, well, it is for Sixer. It takes a while, though. And in the meantime, of course, Lambert did go down, so now all on his own in a one-on-one up against Crimbo, who just moves in way too quick. Sixer had no idea, was checking out Long, thought there was maybe still a player down there, but no, Crimbo was given the chance for the flank, and there we go. It is going to be a 4th round at least being salvaged for alternate. With that, though, guys, we are going to send it over to a quick break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes, so make sure you stick with us.
just wanna be someone and never fall behind again. Just keep on moving on. Never look down. Never fade out. Never fade out. Oh, oh, shooting through the clouds. I know it's alright. It's alright. Heavens are the limit now. Let's fly just one more night. One more night. Don't look down, never fade out. And I just wanna be someone and never fall behind again. Just keep on moving on. Never look down, never fade out. Never fade out.
All right, everyone. It was, of course, just a few minutes, as we said, for the break. We're getting right back into it now. It's the second pistol round. And alternate, they did, of course, salvage that final round there in the previous half to go up towards 4. But they need this pistol round. I mean, we know it's possible. We've seen an 11-4 being recovered a little bit back on Nuke, even from Ldlc. But obviously, there's going to need to be an incredible performance right now from alternate. And, well, we're seeing some crazy aggression from Ldlc. Right up mid with a player. They also have short aggression and a player pushed in towards the lower tunnels. But this has all been spotted, so alternate not really looking to give them those opportunities. Apart from the fight around the top of mid, the auto director wasn't really giving us much of the action right there. And, well, eventually the first blood does come in favor of alternate, with some further damage done on Lambert. That leaves them in a pretty decent position. The issue is the amount of control that they've lost. They've got to go fight somewhere together.
Slow play does lead itself to CTs taking some map control, and well, we spoke about it on the first map, right? 11-4 pistol round feels nigh on essential. The only caveat to that is alternate attacks have been pretty good at dialing in the second round force buys against Ldlc, so by no means a done deal. CT spread across the board for now. Keel's still aggressive on short, does have the kit, needs to be cautious of it, and he's going to get timinged on. Missed shot. Gives him his life back, and he'll take the opportunity with both hands. Panics, goes down. The smoke surely to be dropped here as they start to try and make their way up this short position. Keel's playing close to it. Pop flash through is going to put him under pressure. Up close and personal, the Glocks will get the better of him. Kit goes down, and they're just going to swarm off the back of that. The flank will come in perfectly. Scrunk able to deal with Lambert, and it's on to Hadji and Maka to clutch it. They have to go through short. They've got to try and recover that kit, but the bomb already going down, the afterplant position's well established, and no real utility. This is going to be so difficult for Ldlc to get on the board.
Yeah, but it's Hadji and Maka. If you wanted any two players in this position, I would say these are my two. So let's see what they can do as they move in. It's all three of alternate ready to swing up at the same time, though. I love the positioning, and yeah, that's incredibly well played. They had the trades prepared, but they aren't even needed. Process sweeps up both of those kills, and alternate, they head up the 5. They win the pistol that we said was incredibly important for them to come out on top of. But hang on now, Wolfie, because Ldlc, they're good at losing the force buys. Are they good at winning them themselves?
Big call to go with the double scout setup.
I do like this, actually, yes. I think this is the first double scout force buy we've seen, right?
It's a bit,
Oh, well, it's not anymore.
That's not how you want your double scout force by to start. And yeah, they're just going to rush straight in here. The Deagle, yes, it gets one frag, but without a second there, the scout's already down. In my mind, this immediately becomes a save, and it's the same in the minds of Ldlc. As soon as that B bomb site has fallen, with Maka going down early, there's just no way. And keeping 2 sets of armor, a couple of scouts, a steam overlay for Dean,
Oh, sorry.
you get at least a little bit of a buy into the next one, right? You get
I
some
completely
bits
forgot
and
about that.
pieces. I just saw it come up on the feed. I was like,
Yeah. My
that's a
bad,
new
my
one.
bad. It's fine. It's fine. Never happened. Never happened. Cut the stream. Cut the delay. Bring us back in. Never happened. Nah, I'm only joking. Yeah, I'm fine with this save as well, especially with being able to actually recover that second scout back. Puts them in a pretty decent position because, well, you have the Deagle and Haji to drop over to one of them, so it's honestly just a very similar position to what they were in there in that previous round. They can try and do the damage again. They have a pretty good lead, so it's not too necessary for them to actually win out this round, but if they take 2 or 3 players with them, then it puts them in a fantastic spot going into the first gun round. So yeah, that is going to be the goal. Seeing the scout still for panics. Watch, did he drop a weapon there in the spawn to pick up the scout? I'm wondering what it was. Oh, Sixer loves these peaks, and well, it works out this time. I think it was Maka who tried to push the doors in the last round. Sixer, he gives it his shot in this one, and it works out. Over towards B, they're just being torn apart by the scouts. Sixer and Maka combining. They do so much damage, and they let Haji eventually take a little piece of the pie for himself. As Ldlc, I said they didn't need to win the force buy, but they do anyway, because why the hell not?
They called the bluff. The B rush last
They're gonna
round.
keep
Fine.
the double scout as well. Love it.
We'll put players in towards B. We'll go for the double peak mid again. This time it works out, and then we'll just rotate.
Ooh.
Everybody will head towards B. I tell you what, Panics has again hit the scout hit. Sixer goes down to 42 HP.
There's a bit of AK damage as well on the cross on Kios. Not a lot, but still, it's not nice.
Just chaotic, isn't it?
Ooh.
Maka trades the tags for now. There's a lot of presence in mid. He needs to be very careful here, but he just keeps fighting it. Finds himself the frag he's after. Now he'll be happy to retreat from the situation. Alternate attacks. A man down early on. They do have all 4 AKs still on the board, however. And that double scout setup is still prevalent. Boosting up on short. That was not the play. Lambert is out in no man's land. The spray is so awkward. Somehow he gets one. Somehow he gets out of there. The Molotov will surely flush him out of the situation. Drops the smoke. He's trying to bait things in for Haji, but it's not going to work. Alternate attacks really looking to up the pace here, and there is so much damage on the board. Scrunk through the smoke. We'll find the one. Crimbo is there for the quick trade, and Sixer, well, he opened up last round, and he's going to need 2 if he wants to shut this one down. 42 HP, scout in hand. There is 1 player tagged up in the form of Crimbo. Crystal would take a headshot or a little bit more to the chest. Clearing his way out of long. Gets the freebie. Crimbo goes down, and now Crystal on the bomb site. 1v1 does have the health to work with, but blinded up. Oh, gets some good damage. Will find the conversion as well. Alternate attacks will have their 7th. The double scouts come back to bite Ldlc somewhat, but it is very close yet again.
What a crazy round. I don't know how Lambert stayed alive right there, man. Honestly, the sprays on both sides were just so iffy. He's somehow then allowed to escape as well with no trade coming back from alternate. But they still make it work. So in the end, it doesn't even matter, apparently. 5 rounds in the difference, and yeah, alternate slowly but surely inching their way back into this one. There's still another bye they need to overcome here, but if they do manage to win out this one, suddenly it's an eco for Ldlc. You have alternate up on 9, and well, yeah, at that point you really have a game on your hands, especially with alternate being here on the T side now, which is the favored side, of course, here on Dust 2. Not by a huge margin by any means, but at least by a little bit. But yeah, a slower approach from alternate, working towards what will eventually, I would imagine, be that short control. Does look like that's what they're setting up for anyways. Bomb kept over in the tunnel, so maybe even the B split could be on the cards, but if that's what they go towards, then I think they might be kind of playing into the hands of Ldlc, who've set themselves up with a little bit of a mid stack, maybe expecting that play. They also have the up on short. Might have quickly forced away though as the flash comes in. So yeah, good work from alternate, not wanting to give anything away that they don't need to right now.
Slow and steady wins the race and all that. Clearing the angles with utility. Making sure they can't get picked off early on. Keeping the CTs honest as well. Util to fake the concept of a mid-B split. Yet to commit to either way, really. Maka trying to be proactive is going to get taken down. Process. The spray on the Galil will connect, and from here they can just barrel into A. Hadji doing all he can on the ramp. It's going to be a 1-for-1 in favor of alternate attacks yet again. Hadji manages to get at least one, but he's facing an AWPer, somehow not going down. How does he get so much done there? The spray from Process comes back for 2, and it's onto Kios. 1v1 as he trades out the first man. He's spotted on the ramp. Surely knows the last man is coming from short. HE, all he has to work with here. 18 seconds on the clock for alternate attack. Scrunk starts to make his way up and straight wins the duel. The swing from Kios isn't good enough. The AWP will be recovered. The economy will break for Ldlc. And boy, have we got a game on our hands here on Dust 2.
They don't want to make it easy, though, do they? It really doesn't look like it. These rounds coming right down to the wire, one-on-ones. We've been getting so many close rounds, even in the maps that were a little bit more one-sided. Even back in Nuke, we had a lot of 1v1s and clutches and such coming in. So yeah, this is just being crazy, and yeah, alternate on their way right back into the game. A full eco from Ldlc. They've got a little bit to work with those Deegs, and how'd you even get an armor behind his one? So it's not like alternate can be too crazy about this round. They do still need to be a bit cautious. And yeah, you can see just the early long control comes in, then they slow things down, waiting to see what Ldlc are up to. And, well, for the moment, nothing really. They have stacked up around short there with a 2-man stack, I believe. One up close on the mid doors then, and a couple of players over towards B. So kind of just in the positions where you expect these pistols to play, because you're not really going to be holding long unless you're pushed up close. So yeah, full on control from alternate, knowing they're up against the weaker buy, playing to their strengths off these guns. They don't have much control elsewhere, though. That's a bit of an issue.
Yeah, potentially if Ldlc had aggressed somewhere, then this could be more viable. Hadji trying to do the strafe, trying to bait the shot out of the AWP, instead takes it straight to the chest, and Maka was desperate to get the pistol, not going to be able to do so. Alternate attacks are running into the stack. All the firepower is here. It's a question of what can they get done with it. Lambert the first to swing on the peak. Now the utility comes in. 2 players on the site, 2 on the ramp, but they're getting cleaned up all too easily. The pop flashes are perfect. 3 in quick succession. Panics with all the flash assists. Make it all the flash assists. There's alternate attacks. Just decimate that stack. Nothing the pistols could do. The gap narrows to 3. And Ldlc, you have to say, they probably need to get back on that horse sooner rather than later. They need to start putting some rounds away. Otherwise, alternate attacks are going to really start to believe.
Yeah, but one thing we were noting, though, as well for Ldlc was when they're able to get aggressive, they seem to find a lot more success, especially on Vertigo. Is it going to be the same here on Dust 2? Because that aggression can be a little bit more difficult to make happen, especially kind of round in and round out. So I'm curious to how they're going to adjust now that they're back onto the full buy. Maka, glass cannon, not ideal. Especially with the nades, of course, in play for alternate. Currently over towards A, I believe that is. Yeah, positioned just towards the corner. Nothing too crazy on this hold. It's actually pretty standard. They've got just Hadji watching long. I believe he'll be ready to help out Maka. Then you've got Lambert just tucked in on the ramp waiting for contact from the upper. And then, of course, one watching mid and one watching B. So this is fairly standard. Pretty much as standard as you can get at this point. The only thing is it gives you no info. You just don't know what's going on across the map. It is allowed for alternate to move in for full short control. They know there's no one pushed up on B because they have Crimbo here making a bit of noise and trying to run down what few nades Ldlc actually have. And yeah, with the full short control now being taken, there's still just about 50 seconds left for alternate to actually make a move on it. And yeah, faking out mid a little bit. It will, of course, be the full-on short hit. Doesn't seem like that fake's really pulling anyone out of position, though.
Ldlc sticking to their guns. That Molotov goes a little early. The 12 seconds tick off all too soon. And here we go. The straight short explosion is going to come through. They're just headed straight into this site. Pop flashes over the top. Crossfires are here. Lambert, the first man in towards Goose, fully blinded. Will be traded out 1-for-1 by Maka at the very least. But there's so much more required. And the trades, for now at least, are competitive. But Hadji very isolated on long. Taking a lot of fights, a lot of risk. Taps away for the first. Fully blinded, not traded out. And with Panics alone on short, he's going to go down. Alternate attacks, they're throwing this one away. Sixer with the final frag. The retake comes through oh so cleanly for Ldlc. Far too cleanly, if you ask me. The damage is there, but Hadji, he has to be traded on long. That flashbang is so good, so clean. And as a result of him not going down, Ldlc will have their 13th. They'll save the double AWP setup as well. And alternate attacks, I mean, with their loss bonus, they've only really got one shot at this.
Yeah, lose this, then it's an eco to play for an overtime, or, well, in alternate's case, I would imagine a few force buys. As that's what we seen back on Vertigo as well. But yeah, no, as you said, do or die here. They do need to win this one out if they want to keep the dream alive. It's early long control. Flashes over and they are actually going to be able to find it. It did seem like Ldlc wanted to challenge it initially, but deciding against it, getting there a bit too late. Nice shot by Sixer. Panic's just chilling up in suicide. It's, well, a dangerous place to be, as the name would imply. As Ldlc, they find that early opening that we pointed out that they relied on so much, especially back on Vertigo. And yeah, whenever they do seem to get that passive style that they play here on the CT side tends to work out a lot better. Not really the case right now, though, is it? Haji's actually at top mid. They haven't cleared that, though, so he might be able to get a sick flank on once the push starts coming in. The timing, though, is what you have to worry about. Oh, nice shot by Maka. Catches the drop into the pit. This is just falling apart for Alternate right now. They still don't know there's a player chilling at top mid. He should realize they're moving back to the spawn. Even spots one of them. Okay, now he's in a bit of trouble. But it doesn't really seem to matter because his teammates keep getting the kills elsewhere. So even if he goes down, they've still got a 4-on-2. And, well, he's not. He's alive and wasting time.
He's buying so much time, and he's hearing all the footsteps as well. He's calling the plays. Look, Lambert, free backstab kill. Crystal goes down, and Scrunk. I mean, this is an impossible situation. 1v5, make it 1v4 as he finds the initial pick, but the nade and the bullets will follow things up. 14-9, just the one player lost in that round, and it's the hyper-aggressive Haji for Ldlc. Everything else goes exactly as planned, and now, Alternate Attax, you've got a big call to make. Looks like the Force Spy is coming out. Panics will pick up the Scout. The pause, thankfully, will be taken. There's no better time to take it than right now, but I mean, I think the only silver lining I can see here is that Ldlc are on the double AWP setup. One of the things it's most susceptible to is a fast, rushing, aggressive play, right? Catch the AWPer off guard. And, well, when you've got Tech 9s, you are looking at a fast, rushing play. It's the only thing you can do.
This is the buy that has been working for Alternate as well throughout this entire series. You say Ldlc have struggled with the Force Spies. The double up setup, it kind of amplifies potentially those shortcomings that they've had in these rounds if they're able to get caught out in lone positions and such and end up giving away weapons. So yeah, hopefully for Ldlc's sake they aren't going to let this one slip, because this should pretty much be their game right now. Win out against this Force Spy, there's a very similar investment in the following round as well that they have to overcome to put the nail in the coffin. But some good damage on Sixer. That's a solid start for these pistols.
Tagging the secondary AWPer down low. Something that potentially Tech 9s and Deagles can look to exploit moving forward.
Oh,
Panics.
God.
Fancies himself a bit of these AWPers. Tags both of them up before he goes down. As much as he would have liked to stay alive, at the very least, there's two players on the board now who are potentially an easy frag. The Scout will be recovered by Scrunk. Is he going to go for it again? Keeps peeking down mid. Nobody there on this occasion, however. Ldlc happy to hunker down in their bomb sites and give some control away to the Alternate Attax boys. Plenty of utility still on the board as well. The crossfire's well established. Ldlc just relying on that superior firepower now to get them through the rest of this round. Hot flash in towards short. Interesting lineup, that one, to clear the initial angles. But yeah, nobody committing to anything on Ldlc's side. They're going to sit back. They're going to wait for the full execute, what little utility Alternate Attax have to come over the top, and then just look to repel it with the firepower.
Yeah, with the damage on Sixer, though, it could still be pretty dangerous. Flashes over as well, going to make things a bit more awkward. Crimbo, can he get out? Oh, there's actually a second smoke down that's blocking his vision, but there we go. Eventually pops up and catches Sixer in the back. That lets the rest of them focus on Kioz, and, well, B has fallen. It's the save. It's already called for. They have a bit of money, sure, but yeah, that money is going to get them the drops over to Kioz and potentially the secondary up again for Sixer if Maka wants to give that over. But yeah, Alternate have made another one of these buys work. That damage that they were able to connect despite no actual kills coming in from Panics, it leads pretty much to the round win right there because of course, Sixer being so low on the site and then Kioz just being left stranded there in the open, just surrounded pretty much. 14-10. We have a game still on our hands. Ldlc, they still have a few opportunities, of course, to get themselves up towards map point and try and put this one to an end. But if Alternate manage to overcome this next buy, then at that point, it's going to get real close.
Ldlc and half buys. A tried and tested combination. As you said, the tags
we
early
just
on
expect
from
them
Panics.
to lose them now. We really should.
At this point,
We should be surprised
ridiculous.
when they win it.
You know it's getting late because that was far too amusing. Realistically, it was not that funny, but it just cracks me up.
It's funny in context of what we've been watching.
It really is. Double AWP setup still available though. Ldlc looking to make the most of those big green guns. Lambert flashed off the early angles, does manage to escape in towards a ramp. Boosts his teammate up. In fact, gets boosted himself up onto the bomb site. A little more aggression this time, and Maka posted on short will find the opening pick. Panics has gone down. Crystal, meanwhile, has started to sneak his way out and wins the fight. Haji, that was critical. Six are now on a very disadvantageous peak. Actually wins the fight, and the man spotted out in pit as well. This is looking good. Maka on the AWP doing so much work. Scrunk will at least trade the first, but 3-on-2. Maka just hightailing it up towards short, trying to catch the man on the cross. If he can do so, this round should be all but done, and he will. Bomb down, spotted. Scrunk dealt with, and Crimbo, well, he'll pick up the AWP. It's a 1v3. There's plenty of time on the clock. He can go wherever he will please. He's got to deal with these 3 remaining CT players. Molotov buys him at least a little bit of time. He smells a rat, considers the flank. Maka, though, posted on this angle now. If Crimbo swings, you have to imagine he goes down. Missed shot. And Crimbo's not done with this fight just yet. 1 Molotov remaining for the CT side. 35 seconds left. And he just stops. Cuts all noise. All cues are gone. He's not going to give this CT side any more information than he has to. For all they know, he's gone out the back of long. He's caught a timing. And he's hightailing his way over towards B right now. Instead, he'll clear his way through the car. Keels just with the 4A1S in towards CT. Spotted and dealt with. Ldlc. This was a 3v1. It's down to the last man now. Sixer looking to catch the timing from long. He's not been spotted. He'll be all on the audio cues. He goes silent. And Crimbo starts to peek these angles. Sixer's missed the shot. He's stuck at the car now. The AWP will find it, and it's another huge round. A huge clutch for Crimbo. Alternate attacks by the skin on their teeth are still in this game.
Jesus, Ldlc, they should not be giving those chances away. They just need to play the 3-on-1 together. Crimbo was led away with way too much, and yeah, that keeps alternate in it. That might be very demoralizing as well for Ldlc in the position that they're in right now. They can't afford the full buy. They're going to have to concede the 12th round. If the next gun round doesn't go their way, suddenly you're likely tied up at 14-14. And yeah, the pressure is mounting at this point. We see the pause being called in. I would imagine by Ldlc. I haven't actually looked right now, but it could also be by alternate. Like, damn, we need to calm down after Crimbo just got that clutch. But either way, we're getting back into the action. Both teams taking a moment, and let's see. We could even be seeing an overtime in this game. I wouldn't be surprised with what we've gotten so far. it would only be fitting. We had a close-ish first map. It wasn't too close. Second map then, right down to the wire. Full 30 rounds. Third map, give us an overtime, baby. Come on. Oh, the charge of mid.
Putting the pressure on. They're going to go straight up suicide. Not something you say every day. All 4 pistols. It'll be Scrunk to deal with them. Takes down 2 before the trade. That's a good amount of work to be found. But Maka, trying to make life difficult, finds a second frag on the scout. Sixer has actually managed to salvage himself an AK-47. And yeah, off the back of that information, he is done with this round. Hightails it out towards A. Will hold on to the rifle. I mean, there's no harm, of course, in Keels being dropped across the deagle, going for something. See if he can maybe find an exit. Try and hem some of these T-side players in towards the B-bomb site. Maybe take 1 or 2 out with the bomb. The economy is not well established for alternate attacks at all. This back and forth, it never favors the financial situation. So as Sixer holds on to the rifle, it'll be Keels to do what he can. The bomb ticking down in the background, the backdrop of it. All 3 players saving towards the car. So Keels shouldn't be able to get anything out of this. I don't think he's going to aggress all the way into the B-bomb site to try and find these exit frags, or is he? He's pushing straight through. If he suspects it, he could find one. He does. Panic trades at least. It looked like there was a lot more on the board there. Plenty of damage done. But 2 players kept up. Alternate attacks will be able to drop around. And Ldlc, they are running out of chances to shut this one down.
Yeah, we are getting to that point now, but it's this gun round. If they can win out this one, there's still not really money for alternate. So suddenly, again, it becomes a very difficult position for alternate to try and pull it back to an overtime. But obviously, if alternate managed to win this one, we should be tied back up at 14-14. So a very important round. A slower one from alternate as well, grouping 3 players up towards the tunnels initially, just to likely spread out, try and work towards short even potentially off that. LDLC, though, they had pushed a few players up on long in the early moments. Not finding anything now. The question is, what way do they fall back with this setup? Is it going to be kept relatively standard, or are they going to try and take any gambles or anything? It looks like, yeah, it's pretty standard. One player watching the CT walkout from the spawn there so he can help out A still if that's needed. Two players dedicated to B. Keep one in the pit as well, so they'll get info pretty much early no matter where this push comes in. Except for B, because they might be caught off guard in the moment. Those rotations are not too nearby. A good spam though from Sixer. So much damage looking like it could have been done, but he actually only done a small bit on top of the kill towards Process, but that works out. Lambert gets the finish. Kios, with the help of the flash, is going to be there to deliver, and a fantastic B-hold from LDLC. That is what they needed, and, well, that's what they deliver. 15 to 12. Alternate. Their economy, it is not looking good.
I'm not sure who the player was on car, but man, the nerve on that play. He sat there, he didn't fire, he waited, called for the rotations, waited for the flashes to come over the top so he could work with the player coming through the B doors. A
think it was
crucial
Kios.
round. If it was Chaos, all props to the man. That was a risky play. It's a big call not to take your gun out, not to shoot, to let them out onto the site. But it works out to absolute perfection for LDLC. 15 to 12 now. 3 opportunities to shut this one out. And I mean, we said it. They were coming into this as underdogs. They very nearly got slapped on their own map pick of Nuke. They managed to make it respectable. Then they stole away Vertigo. I think that's the only fair descriptor for it. And now 3 opportunities to shut it down. The half buy for alternate attacks. Normally you'd look at this and go, it should be a done deal, but it is LDLC. They've been struggling against these. Potentially still some life in the Germans yet. 2 Deegs, a tech. Mac 10, aggression from the AWP, and Maka. A huge flick to open things up. 1 player removed from the server already. The numbers starting to thin for alternate attacks. How many more opportunities are they going to be given by the Frenchman?
That is the question. I mean, we seen them win at one of these force buys, though, even with the initial player being lost there just a few rounds back. Obviously, that was with also the damage initially done from at least the scout, so I don't know if it's going to be as easy for them to pull this one back, of course, but we'll see what the plan is anyway. Up towards short, you have, I believe, Process that is moving in towards the peak itself, rather, just to get the control. You still have one holding for any B aggression, but you're not really going to get any aggression from LDLC just because they have no need to. They've already got this early advantage. They can sit on it and, of course, force alternate to make the play happen. And they have to, and they will. Out towards mid, a smoke in towards the spawn, but Sixer from the window holding a relatively aggressive angle. He actually doesn't connect, but he gets the info early that that B split is coming through, of course. But at the moment, they're letting this distance be closed, and that's when the pistols and the SMGs become really dangerous. And we are seeing just what can happen. 2 openings in favor of alternate, a bomb plant, and a save being called for. We're still going, baby. It's not over. We are not done yet, Wolfie. We can never count alternate out on these weaker buys. To be fair, okay, yeah, they're playing them really well, but LDLC are just letting too many of them go. I think we've probably seen like 10 of them being lost, if not even more in this series so far.
It has to be double digits. There's no way it's less, but I kind of feel bad for Sixer there. I'm going to be real honest. He hit the shot. It was through the wall.
Oh, he did? Damn.
So he hits the flick. He hits the first man, but he only tags him down, right? Then he's desperately falling back into the site. It's a misplay from Kios after such a huge round on the car last time round. He drops the smoke. And by doing so, just gives Crystal exactly the right amount of time. Swings around the angle as soon as he hears that nade coming out. It's a free frag. And from there, Sixer, there's nothing you can do. You're an AWP isolated on the B-bomb site of Dust 2. It's not going to land. So a little unfortunate, small margins at this level of the game, and LDLC, they're all too familiar. 2 more rounds required for the Germans to take it to OT. This time, a very strong full buy, and if LDLC lose this, their economy is damn near broken. 3-round loss bonus would make it somewhat viable, but realistically, it has to be now.
Seeing some aggression coming in up mid already. This could catch Scrunk, I believe it is, completely alone right now. If they get that kill, they should have a lot of control. Pretty much all of long, I was going to say, would be under their hands, but no. Scrunk managing to punish Haji. Maka instantly forced back from his position where he was trying to at least set up for the trade as the lower push comes in. So an early advantage. Alternate managing to punish that aggression. They don't really have much control, which is a bit of an issue, and you're actually even seeing Kias pushing long, so they should realize that it was only really Scrunk at top mid, and that shouldn't notify them that it's going to be the B hit. But I guess the kills that are coming in around this area are also going to give exactly that same info over. Nice shot by Makic with a smoke, but yeah, not much else to be done. Crystal was able to take down that final B defender. The bomb goes down, it's another save, and well, now we're coming right down to that final round. It's going to be the full 30. Kios, he just wanted an upgrade apparently. There's an AK for him. They don't move in for this for sure anyway. I mean, Maka is already backed away towards long. At least they'll be able to drop the 2 M4s from Maka. Lambert can buy for himself. They won't be lacking, but yeah, this is looking like an overtime is incredibly likely now.
It's going to take something special. Hadji calls it. He goes for the aggression mid, but twice. What's the phrase? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. And then
Isn't that the other
something
way?
like that. It's
The other way. I
late.
think it's fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I think.
Well, either way.
You had the right idea, but yeah, it's late. I'll
Let's
let you
leave
away
the
with it.
phrases. It's late. It's been a long day. Hadji calls it a second time. Scrunk calls his bluff and is there to clear the angle tight. To be fair, with Panics also peeking that deep angle from short, that kind of clearance didn't seem all that unrealistic. But LDLC, one more bite at it before overtime will start to kick in. Double up setup brought out by the CT side. All buy for both rosters. A slight lack of nades over towards LDLC, a slight lack of head armor as well, but nothing of significance. This is the decider, the big round. All the guns are out, and the damage being done in towards lower tunnels initially. Crimbo, in fact, its process just goes straight through the smoke. Lambert finds a gift of an opener. Could that be the critical frag? A man down already here, alternate attacks. Queuing up onto it. They haven't really got any control either. They haven't taken the early long presence. They haven't got anyone in towards the B tunnels. They don't know if they're being pushed from behind all the while. And actually, LDLC, right as I say, they don't know if it's happening. They're starting to think about it. Molotov goes towards the right-hand side to clear the initial angle. Now Maka will push up. If he can't clear it, Kios is there to trade. Instead, it's going to be out of long. Nice tag from Sixer. Again, not quite able to find the frag, however, and alternate attacks, they are straight queuing up for this. It's going to be an A hit. There's no doubt about it. And LDLC, they can commit to the flank, to the rotations already. If they can clear Crystal on short, then they've got a free retake. Lambert finds his man, and it's all on this long hit for alternate attacks. Just 3 players remaining. So much damage on the board. Hadji up in Gandalf. There's no Molotov to clear him out. The bomb will go down, or will it? Hadji denies the first man. He swings. And now they've got to clear him. All plant safe. They're going to go for the safe plant, and it's going to be onto Panic. Scrunk does well for one. Panic finds the second, but the backstab will come in regardless, and it's Scrunk with 11 HP chucked into the 1v3, stuck on the site. It's not going to happen. LDLC, they need all 30 rounds to do it on Dust 2, but they find themselves the victory, 2-1. And well, we asked for a banger after yesterday, Dean. Boy, did we get one.
Oh yeah, no, we had a pretty one-sided affair yesterday. If no one was with us, Vizsla pretty much stomped all over Faith, if we're going to be honest. Faith have not been having a good start to the season. LDLC, they didn't have a good start to the season either, but coming back into this one now, getting themselves the victory this evening. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. It was pretty much everything was stacked against them with how they were starting off. Losing the first map, it looked like they were almost down and out of vertigo at one point as well. But they make that comeback happen. They bring us the Dust 2, and they just look tremendous here. Obviously, Alternate did wake up a little bit, but it was just a bit too late, unfortunately.
Yeah, I really don't have words. That was complete madness. LDLC couldn't deal with the half buys, but when the full buys came around, when it went back to that structured standard CS, they just had enough to get over the line, and full credit to them. You know, we questioned the mental at the end of the first map. How do you come back from those kind of decimating first halves? And they've done it time and again today. An incredible performance. And that is it from us for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go pass out very promptly. We'll be back next week. Next Tuesday, we're on the mainstream, so ESL_CSGO for some more ESEA Premier action. Make sure you're there.